my own giant robot. I am now the luckiest kid in America. This is unbelievable.
You are going to tell me about this thing. You are going to lead me to it, and we are going to destroy it before it destroys us.
Welcome back to the Iron Giant Minute, the podcast that searches deep in the woods to find the power station in all our lives. I'm your host, Travis Bowe, and I am joined by the inimitable Crystal Beth and the whirling dervish that is Dave Pallas. Welcome, folks.
Man, I'm a dervish.
He is a whirling dervish.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. It's
Absolutely.
spooky in the woods, man. I'm glad you're with me.
The woods are dangerous. Here, take this.
Stay off the moors. This is minute 11, which starts with a flickering light catching Hogarth's eye and ends with an iron giant beginning to feast on the power station.
Oh man, this I love the dress up that Hogarth has. Like it's clearly like his father's like World War II outfit, which I'm guessing is either he was. It looks like he was like a tank. That looks like a tank operator's helmet because it doesn't look like it's heavy, big like frontline helmet. It looks like it's one of those like small padded ones with the radios in it. And like same thing with the bomber jacket. It's like most of the time we saw bomber jackets on like guys who were like crew. They like no, these wouldn't be frontline guys.
Yeah. I
He's so stinking cute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's such a cute little kid.
I think in his bedroom there's a picture of his dad. I think he might have been a pilot.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he's, like,
Makes
on-
sense too.
Around a plane, I think. I'd have to.
Yeah.
Not a very
check.
good one if he's not back. Am I right?
Oh goodness. Goodness.
Got him.
Gosh.
Jeez. Yikes.
Ooh.
He's out there.
Not sorry. Not sorry.
Does anyone have any particular memories of seeing this for the first time?
I do. It was not in the theater.
Okay.
It was when video rentals were still kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I remember we rented it and then I had my mom buy it for me because I
Oh.
thought it was so cute. Maybe I didn't think it was cute then because I was, 1999, I was 13 or 14.
Okay.
I just really liked it. And it's like getting a little pet and making the pet love you. And then the pet is actually a sentient being. And that's nice too.
Yeah.
But I forgot how much of the dialogue I remembered. When I
Okay.
rewatched it for you, I
Mhm.
was like, oh my gosh, I can quote so much of this movie.
Yeah.
And I forgot. And I forgot how much Kent reminds me of Conan O'Brien with the hair.
Yeah. That's awesome.
What about you, Dave?
I'm trying. So it's 1999. Obviously, in back of my head, I'm going. Well, clearly, I was like doing Star Wars and Mystery Men at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think I was at the age where I thought I was above cartoon movies.
Mhm.
I think I'm at that age where I'm just like I watched all the Disney movies as a kid. I got them. I'm totally done with it. So I probably like saw a cartoon movie and I was like, all right, whatever. Like it's probably just
You're a
a kid.
monster. You're
Yeah.
my age, right?
I'm a little bit younger than you, not mine. Like maybe a year or two, not much.
God.
Yeah,
Wow.
you and John are a teensy bit older than me. Teensy.
Right?
So-
I was a teenager and I still liked the cartoons. Don't ever let anyone tell you what you should or shouldn't like. I'm glad you changed, Dave.
Oh yeah, no. I think that's what happened with me was I think this movie probably showed up like at a sleepover like one night. We all went to like Blockbuster or something like that and probably got like one or two movies. And I remember liking it, but like, I didn't realize how good this was. And now I look back on it and be like, I'm so angry at how good this movie is. Like I'm just angry because this was like a gold standard of a cartoon movie that I just, especially with animation, that I find I look at some of the cartoon movies now. And I go, this just feels like cheap CGI. It makes the CGI movies look cheap because this animation, especially when we get to the lighting of the power station, with the shadows flickering everywhere. I'm like, this is great. Like somebody like clearly they really worked their butts off to like with the lighting in the woods to make sure the flashlight and the shadows look great. I'm floored by it.
Yeah, those lighting designers killing it.
Yeah. I really enjoy the like you mentioned the forest kind of creeping through the forest here, and it has a real fantasy element to it that some of it reminds me of like some of the matte painting and concept art for Yoda's swamp on Dagobah. And as well as like the forest sequence in Beauty and the Beast, like when she's being
Okay.
chased by wolves. It's very like has a romantic quality about it, and just very I don't know.
Like eerie romance.
Yeah. So
I feel like Hogarth has done this like in his past. Like he stays up, watches monster movies,
mhm.
and then he's like, "I'm going on patrol tonight." His mom's like, "Do not go out of the house," and
Yeah.
he does a little bit. Like he doesn't go too far in. He'll do like a perimeter check. That's why I can see that. So like I assume he's had a lot of time in the woods to to have fun with. But I feel like he's never gone this far because he's actually tracking now. He's
Right.
actually tracking
Yeah.
something real. It's not just his imagination.
Yeah.
I'm always so impressed. I mean, I know it's a cartoon, but there are kids like this that can face the fear and go and
Mhm.
charge after something. Because let me tell you, after I watched a scary movie when I was little, I was debilitated for about 2 weeks at night after because I was like, I can't move because whatever I saw is going to get me.
Oh, yeah.
But I do love, like, there is that the forest is obviously illustrated to look not scary because the trees are really full. And, like, especially if you look at the pine trees at the beginning, they're like happy Bob Ross pine trees that are like, and not just like skeletal, jagged
Yeah.
branches. And so it helps.
Hmm.
I mean, I didn't see it when I was young, but my
Yeah.
little brother and sister used to watch it. And I think that sort of illustration really helps keep kids grounded in this, that it's not going to be a scary movie.
Yeah. Well, I like what the music does as he's creeping through the woods. It's almost a Looney Tunes quality about it. Like as he's like that stalking kind of motion. There's a bum 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 like kind of sound as he's like tiptoeing through the woods. It's very Looney Tunes orchestral, which is fun. But I like as he there's a little addition of a drum at the end, and the pace changes from mystery in the woods to like militant, ready to take charge as he like steadies himself to jump out from behind this rock that he's hiding behind.
Yeah, it's almost I can see the music is almost timed with like what could feel like a heartbeat. Like that's him
Mm,
inside, and he's trying to change that fear of the unknown into like, okay, now I have to be ready. It's like him trying to him steady himself.
yeah.
We're speaking about the kids in the woods and the go facing your fears. There's a couple podcasts that are like spooky stuff I listen to, like Monsters Among Us, and where it's essentially it's like people call in, and they say they saw something. Sometimes it's like something you saw at night I saw something at night in my hallway, or I was out here and I saw something. And I remember the craziest things was when kids sometimes call in, like maybe they're like 10 or 12, and they're just young enough to where they're not like they're like they don't know that you shouldn't be seeing these monsters. Like this is not a thing you should normally be seeing. And they'll call in and they'll be almost clinical and like clerical, I should say, of like how they report the shadow monster they saw, where they're very like direct, and whereas like you'll listen to like maybe an adult woman describe it, she's scared because her brain is like, this shouldn't exist. I can't handle that. And then you just like listen to a kid who's just like, yes, I saw a monster. It was in a spider shape, and it was on the ceiling. And I was like, oh god, like this kid's like handling it so well.
And then I ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Right?
Yeah.
And then my mom made me my favorite soup.
Yeah, they're able to compartmentalize that so well. And yes, us adults are like, no, God, there should be a spider monster there. It's not right.
Yeah.
There should be an iron giant in the woods. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I'm curious what's he's looking out in the woods, and there's like a sparking, kind of the light, flashes and stuff. I'm wondering what is sparking, because as we'll see, the giant has yet to actually interact with the power station. So I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's we need something to motivate Hogarth to proceed further, and it is a kids movie, so there needs to be a little bit of a leading that needs to
Right.
be done.
Maybe the giant walked by it.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, he doesn't make footprints, as we see from
Yeah.
2 seconds later.
Yeah.
Only occasionally.
Mhm.
Well, two things that bother me is that his flashlight, the backing of his flashlight's in the way of the barrel, which bugs me.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't see something, he's just going to shoot the bagger's light. Like you should have found a way to like put a block to separate the flashlight. So there's just that little bug. That little thing about me.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about like I'm like this power station does feel so odd in the middle of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Like why would you build this power station here? You would think you would build it more industrial.
Right.
The only thing I can think of is since this is like post-war, maybe they're like this was like hastily built during or after the war because like oh we got more people coming in, we got like we got more people come back home and have houses. We need to like update our infrastructure and like they thought like the easiest way to do it was just to clear a section of the woods and just put a power station there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we also do see the lights pulsing.
Yeah.
So specifically when Hogarth walks out from the woods, you can see the back end of the station pulsing more. And when the giant's about to eat the first part of it, you can see it pulsing. Maybe it's like has sporadic
Oh yeah.
not pulsing and pulsing, like it like gets a power surge or something, but
Could be some
Or
hastily
they
built maybe.
they just needed Hogarth to see the flashing light, so they put it there.
That's right. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just surprised in this Cold War climate they don't even have like a little security guard booth or something like at a gate.
The guy's napping on the other side.
Yeah.
Or he's at the diner, like on his shift, just drinking coffee. Like, who's gonna go up to the woods, and like blow up the power station? I'm gonna have a coffee and pie.
We don't even have a road that goes to the power station.
Yeah, there's not even a guard or a gatehouse. Like, what if they actually had to maintain this thing? Like, how do you even get in outside of walking on top of the fence?
We could be on the back side of it.
Possibly. Okay.
I'll give it that. I'm sure.
So then the front side is pulsing, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
All right, I'll allow it.
Let's see. Yeah. So right at like second 30, or so right in the middle of this minute is when you see Hogarth like silhouetted in front of the power station, which is just a nice visual like juxtaposition of this kid and in front of this massive, man-made structure of power. I guess it might be something a kid would be in awe of, especially because it is huge and it's glowing,
Right.
bright blue, and it's kind of like it's just a building, really, But there is something a bit fantastic about a power station like this, like all the cables and the coils and just the weird shapes that you don't tend to see. So it is kind of fun to imagine what a kid is seeing this, thinking of.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
very, yeah, very. I mean, it's just back then, it's very sci-fi. Like, you don't you don't see this type of building in the news.
Mhm.
And it's huge. Like I've seen, I've seen these things, but like I've never seen them that big. They're usually like I don't know, only 20 feet tall, not like 80. And then when you're saying like, yeah, it's a perfect moment to show because he's turning his head at the same time as there's a giant silhouetted in the trees. I'm like, that's such a good spooky little.
Yeah.
And you don't
It's-
notice because Hogarth's so close to the front. The first few times I remember, or not the first few, but the first time I'm looking at Hogarth, and then I don't even notice the eyes turn, and all of a sudden the eyes are there, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, when
All
where was
right.
that? Where'd you come
Such
from?
a great shot. I'm impressed that they had the restraint to not show Hogarth like look behind him just as
Mhm.
the robot shuts his eyes, and pretends he's not there. Or and I
Oh,
don't
that,
even
yeah.
know if the giant is aware of Hogarth's presence. Like it doesn't
hungry.
seem like. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably just been trying to eat like iron ore out of rocks for like the last day. So like it probably never noticed the substation. It's probably starving in the woods.
Yeah.
I need that metal.
I love when he loads his BB gun.
Yeah.
I know we're past that now, but when he's like scared, he's like, then he gets a serious face and he's like,
Yes, that's one of the best shots I think in the minute is
Mhm.
that fear into determination look that's perfectly punctuated with that cocking of the BB gun. So
We lose the flash. I'm trying to figure out when do we lose the flashlight. When he throws it, it just and then the giant crushes it. We lose the flashlight
Yeah.
on the
Maybe
barrel.
just
of
like
the gun.
pops off.
it's either just disintegrated by being crushed, or maybe it's wedged in the Iron Giant's foot.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The tape and the flashlight just went up into its
Yeah.
foot. Yeah, it's possible.
That would be so uncomfortable.
You ever get a flashlight stuck in your foot?
It's like with the thorn in the tiger's paw, like
Oh,
that the mouse had to pull out. Like that'd be a
yeah.
fun, the one thing I don't love about this minute, and it might be maybe the one and only time in the movie when Hogarth is running from the giant. I don't buy that they're interacting in the same space because I think they've made this choice to use a very light brown line art or line color for Hogarth's coat. And
Yeah.
as we zoom out, the line weight doesn't get smaller. I think it actually gets bigger. So
Oh, yeah, he gets very blurry and puffy.
yeah, and he is running towards the power station, so he is getting brighter, which makes sense. He's being lit a little bit more. So he just has this weird, like Hogarth has this weird glowing I don't know, focus that just doesn't look right.
I think what also bugs is that it feels like the Iron Giant should have already passed Hogarth like within 2 steps.
Mm,
Because he's like going maybe within one stride of the giant, which is like, I don't know, at least 50, 60 feet at minimum. He's gone maybe 12. So it feels like it easily should have just, like, by the time it's on him, it should have already eclipsed him
mm,
with how fast that
Mhm.
that thing's been moving already.
yeah.
Maybe he's just really fast.
For a kid, I'll give him that. But yeah, I think that's another thing is that, yeah, you stay on Hogarth almost too long. You feel like that foot should have already passed him. I think that's what feels weird about it.
This is really the first real look of the giant here. You know,
Yeah, we've only seen what, like, top of the head and stuff, and like back of the
yeah, in
shape
the
of it.
when he interacts with the fishing boat at the beginning, he's basically just the silhouette with the the eyes kind of glowing,
Mm-hmm.
and just a few moments ago with the him turning in the woods, and then that's still all silhouette. So yeah, him with arms wide open approaching the power station is really fun. I like how expressionless he is,
Hmm.
which I think is a really smart choice to show him as being cold and robotic until a little bit later when we need to show that he has emotions, kind of hiding the innocent side of him for now.
You don't even, yeah, and right now you can't really even see much of the bump on his head right now. It's right, it's left side. Where it's
Yeah.
a little flat, but it's you almost forget it that he's got a little bump on the head.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it's almost just out of frame when he chomps down on the metal,
mhm.
but yeah.
Such a nice little touch too. Because then
Uh-huh.
at the end, when it
Ugh.
comes around, and you're just like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh no, his final form.
Just a little think.
Yeah. I like just a perfect way to end a minute, just that perfect chomp down on the metal.
Hmm.
It's just one of those lucky minute by minute breaks, I guess.
Yeah, it always feels so cool when you get one of those where you're like, each one of these minutes is a story. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Anything else for this minute?
That's it for me. Just love the gun cock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I think that's going to do it for today, but let's come back tomorrow to find out if the giant chews with his mouth open.
Nah.
Crystal, where can listeners hear more of your lovely voice?
You can find me on social media at the Crystal Beth, and Keep Calm and Game On is a podcast I do, as well as playing Star Wars Dungeons and Dragons with Rebels podcast. We have the 2.5 episodes up on that, and it's super fun, and I like it.
Very cool. And Dave, what about your lovely voice?
Aw. I am working still on the 5 Minutes of Mystery, the 1999 superhero comedy ensemble. So if you're up after you're done listening to Iron Giant, you want some more 1999 fun, come on over there. And we're always talking about it. Smash Mouth on the Champion City Lakeside Diners Club.
Well, all right, that's going to do it this one. I've been your host, Travis Bow. You can find me on Twitter at @TravisBow. But until then, see you later.